Hello and welcome to another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I'm the sparkle in your life, Daniel Paul Crow. On this episode, I have an interview with Jordie Sparkles. We talk about how he got into the world of professional wrestling, his recent tour of the USA, and that match from VPW. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Hi Melina with Jordie Sparkles. Jordie, thank you so much for taking the time out to be on the show. I know you've just arrived back in Melbourne. But firstly, congratulations on going to America and doing proud. I've seen some of the photos and some footage that you posted on Instagram, and it looked like you had a lot of fun. How was it?
Oh, it was the best experience of my life, you know. I mean, I won't lie, homesickness did hit me at first, but at the same time, you know, since day one that I've wanted to wrestle, going to America was my goal. And you know, when I realized that, you know, this was me living my dream, all the homesickness went away. And I made so many incredible friends up there who I still to this day talk to. And yeah, just it's an experience I'll never forget.
Well, before we start talking about your history and everything, how did it actually come about? Did you have, because obviously we have a lot of aspiring wrestlers who are going to be on here and people who do listen to the show. How did you make that happen?
To go to America.
Yeah.
So basically, well, it's a long story. So basically, you know, obviously we're in a 2-year pandemic, and obviously a lot of the wrestling shows and all that were pulled back for 2 years. And you know, I had goals to, you know, wrestle as much, you know, all around Australia and then eventually do America. And basically, when we were out of lockdown, I wrestled all around Australia, which was a big goal that was ticked off my bucket list. And yeah, just everyone's been saying, you know, America is really good for, you know, wrestling experience and just everything in general. And basically, you know, Buddy Matthews, who's a huge inspiration of mine, ran a training seminar at my academy at MCW. And basically, after the seminar, he was like, does anyone have any questions? And I rose my hand and I basically said to him, you know, I want to try and wrestle in America. It's always been a big goal of mine. What can I do to get there? And Buddy basically, you know, gave me all the advice and the tools I need to try and make it over there. And I wrestled in 4 different states up there. And you know, great things don't come easy, but you know, I made it happen.
Wow. Out of all the people, I just didn't think it would be old geez, about to use his real name. Buddy on there. Buddy, I've known Buddy for shoot. I'm gonna say probably about 15 years. Like when he was wrestling at PCW, I got to know him a little bit there. I wouldn't say we're mates or anything, but you know, I've known him and absolutely sweet guy. I know he plays a tough guy, but he's absolute sweetheart. But it's good to see that he's doing it.
Everyone. I literally say it to everyone. It's like he's a badass and a killer when you watch him on TV, but in person, nicest bloke. And yeah.
No, I'll never forget because when he was in a tag team with I think it was Jack O'Lantern from memory, a long time ago. If anyone remembers that. I went up to him and said, "Oh, how are you, Matt?" And he's like, "Oh," and he was just so nice. I'm just like, it's complete 180 to what he actually is in the ring. So I just that was for me that opened like, okay, these guys are real. You know, these guys are real people. Just that's the character they play. And I had to thank the Buddy Matthews that's on that one. What so? Did you have to do a lot of calling, or was it you just you knew somebody who was in the States that they got you into these territories?
Well, to go back on the advice that Buddy gave me, basically Buddy said, you know, have you got a wrestling resume? And I said, yes, I do. And he basically just said, you know, the shorter the better. So what I did was I told them my wrestling name. I told them my persona. I sent promo photos of myself with some match links, told them how long I've been wrestling and whereabouts I've wrestled, and said, you know, I'm really interested in coming to the States. And, you know, the time difference didn't help with being in the land down under and being up there. But yeah, the time difference really was a major pain in the ass when it came to it. But basically, you know, I applied and they said, yep, send us your resume, So I did, and the next couple of days I followed up, and I was very fortunate enough to have gotten 4 bookings,
Wow.
and that's how it all started.
So how many extra books did you have throughout that month period where you did? Just the four, or did you had more than that?
Well, when I was there, I did have 2 promotions reach out to me. The
Mm-hmm.
promoters contacted me on Instagram, and they're like, hey, this promoter in this company that you wrestled for said you're a great worker. Would you be interested in coming? And obviously, I 100% would have said yes, but at the same time, my flights and all that were booked, so I had to unfortunately pull the pin. But I
Oh,
did say, yeah, unfortunately, but I did say to them, next time I do a USA tour, which I do plan to do, I'll keep you guys posted. And they're like, yes, please do, because we want to have you. So yeah, at
beautiful.
least at least I've got something to go to when the next USA tour happens.
Hmm. All right. Well, let's go back to the start, as they say. Talk me through what got you into wrestling exactly.
All right. What got me into wrestling? So I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I was over at my granny and pops one day with my mum and dad and my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I was just doing my thing, and then eventually dad turns on the TV and there was WWE. And my dad and my pop at the time basically said, come here, like come watch this. And I was like, okay. And I remember it was Rey Mysterio versus Batista. And I,
Yeah.
yeah, and I saw Rey Mysterio, jumping off the top rope, doing the 619 and all like the suicide dives to the outside. And instantly, I'm obsessed. And I remember I was like, Dad, what is this? And he's like, WWE. And I'm like, this is so cool. And as years went by, every time, like throughout my primary school years, I came home and was like, can we watch the wrestling? Can we watch it? And, and yeah, that was literally my whole life growing up. And I even remember at the time, one of my best friends who I went to school with at the time, he was into pro wrestling. And as bad as this may sound, pretty much every single weekend, I would go over to his house and we would do the WWE wrestling on the trampoline.
Nice.
It was so fun. And I still remember to this day, like he had an older brother who was in like year 12 at the time, and we were in like grade 5. And I remember still to this day that we used like cardboard boxes and that, and we used them as tables and all that. And we would throw ourselves and we would throw ourselves through them. And it was honestly like I even have like still have like a video on my phone from like when we would do all the stuff. And honestly, it's just the memories. And yeah, just along with that, every birthday and every Christmas, my mom and dad would get the WWE games on PlayStation, all that, and it still
Nice.
happens to this day. And yeah, just leading up to this day, I've just loved pro wrestling ever since.
I just love the fact that you were a Yada. Hopefully I can say that because I'm not a wrestler, but you actually had the guts to actually use cardboard to do it. Like I mean I'm not gonna lie, I did it myself, and I was just scared to do that. I know like it wouldn't have hurt as much, but at the same time I was like I don't want to get like a paper cut or anything like that. Screw that. But kudos to you for doing that, and it just if you've got that video, send it to me. I'd love to see that and just
Yeah,
yeah, to see what see where you are because
yeah.
like from the footage that I have seen of you in the last 24 hours, like I'm so amazed just with everything that you do, like the splits as well. Like every time I see you do that, I'm just like, oh, not that bad. Like you do it so well. I'm just like, I wish I was flexible still, so I can do something like that. I know it's hard to believe, but I was flexible a long, long time ago. I was probably 5 when I was still flexible, but yeah, you do it, you pull it off really well.
Yeah, well, I do the splits because since like I was like, 5 years old growing up watching the pro wrestling era, my mum and dad had me in like judo, karate, kickboxing, and doing like all like the high kicks and all that sort of stuff and all the stretching is what gave me the flexibility. And
Mm.
obviously, in the wrestling business, I've always been told that you want to be unique and not be the same as others. So I thought to myself, what's something that a male wrestler doesn't do every day? And I thought, not everyone does the splits. So I thought, use that with my persona. And and the audience love it, and I wouldn't change it for anything because I will say this: it is pretty cool being able to do the splits.
Oh yeah, like I don't think anyone really does it in male side wrestling anymore. Like I'm trying to think of like 80s, like I could think of one, but I can't remember his name. 90s, I think it was I'm trying to remember his name now. Takumi Shinoki was did it a little bit. And then yeah, but no, you're bringing it back. But every time I see you do it, two people come to mind. One, Melina,
Yeah,
who
I hear that a lot. I
yeah.
hear that a lot.
But the second one, obviously, growing up in the 90s, Johnny Cage.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. So, but I'd like every time you do a switch, I'm expecting you to go hit him right in the nuts. But like, okay, he doesn't get disqualified. But yeah,
Yeah, you'd be surprised. The funniest thing is on one of the shows that I did in America, I did my splits entrance during my entrance, right?
Yeah.
And basically the audience went, "Oh, how is that possible?" And then what was funny is that as I was singing the splits and I turned around and looked at the crowd, this old guy sitting at the front just goes, "Hi, Melina." Honestly, and I came that close to laughing and breaking character, but I was like, get together, stay in character. But honestly, but when I went backstage with my friends in America on that show, I cracked up on the ground laughing because I just thought it was the funniest thing, especially coming from like a guy who was like, I don't know, 70 or something. I just thought that was gold.
And that's never happened here in Australia at all, or that's the first time this ever happened.
No, it hasn't happened once before in Australia.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm just picturing in my head now, and I didn't mean to be, but you and Melina having a match, an intergender match. Now that is a dream match I'd love to see.
Yeah, well, yeah. Honestly, that would be a dream if I got to just even meet Melina because she is the main reason that growing up watching wrestling, because when I was growing up watching wrestling, I was in her era. Like when she returned from injury and she came back and defeated Alicia Fox for the Divas Championship and she was doing the splits and all that stuff. Yeah, I was just like, that's going to be me one day doing it.
No, she was absolutely amazing. Did you see her when she came here at BCW, or were you a bit too young to see her then?
No, I wasn't able to see it because at that time I didn't have a driver's license. I wasn't 18 yet.
Yeah,
but I would have. But I would have if I was old enough and was able to drive.
BCW, if you're listening to this, any chance you could, bring her back? Because I would love to go see her, and I would love. I think there's money on the table here when we say Jordie Sparkles versus Melina. That would be not only a dream match, but I reckon it'll be a sellout for that one.
Ooh.
And don't forget to also tip me 10% on that one because that's my idea. Hashtag money. All right. So you're loving WWE. Did you ever go to the dark side and check out TNA at the time?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I mean, well, at the time, growing up, watching wrestling and all that sort of stuff, I was about WWE, but at the time during my era, like the beautiful people like Angelina Love, Velvet Sky, and all that would come out and would shake their booties and all that on like the ring and all that with the camera up front. My parents weren't a fan of that, especially when I was little. But however, my best friend at school who I was with at the time, his house I would go to wrestle with, we would watch that stuff all the time. So there were ways to work around it. I
was never a fan of the entrance. I think their in ring work was second to none. I will still reckon, and I'm very biased on this one. I still reckon the knockout division was way better than the Divas division. Nowadays it's kind of 50-50 because they've got both companies now have great talent.
Oh yeah.
But it's just a shame that the knockouts did not get as much TV time as as they should have. It just was a really bad era of wrestling, I think, when it came to women wrestling, because we had some really great talent there. And Melina, although we're now quite switching back to WWE, Melina was definitely one of those top tiers, and it's just a shame that the women's revolution hadn't taken off yet.
Yeah, well, at the time, obviously, my parents weren't a fan of, all that sort of stuff on TNA. But at the end of the day, growing up watching wrestling, I wasn't about that stuff. I was just all about the wrestling and just watching people perform. Like that's literally all I cared about when it came to wrestling.
I think maybe because your parents were, from that the Attitude Era, and that's where I'm from because I'm a lot older than you. When I was that age, yeah, obviously, I was into, a bit of TNA, but as I got older, I think I was about 16 when I just went, yeah, I just rather see them wrestle. It sort of just wore off on me, and just a shame that it took that long for women's wrestling to go back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how did you actually get into wrestling?
So, as I mentioned, I was doing martial arts, and at the time, I was a black belt in kickboxing, believe it or not.
Wow.
And basically, yeah, I have a black belt in kickboxing, but yeah, it's been a while, so I probably lost my touch. But basically, my friend who I told you about, who I was with, I was in year 11, I think, or year 12, one or the other. And basically, as I was doing kickboxing, my friend basically just said, I signed up for a wrestling company here, and I'm going to learn how to train WWE style. And I remember I said to him, "There's wrestling in Australia? I had no idea. Can you send me the link?" So he did, and basically, he sent me the link, and I said to my mum and dad at the time, "Look, I've accomplished everything I've done in my kickboxing. You know that wrestling's what I've always wanted to do. Can I please give it a try?" And my mum and dad are those kinds of people where they're just like, we generally don't care what you do. As long as you're happy, that's all we care about. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm pretty blessed to have such awesome parents. But so I put in the application and I applied and I got an email back and was like, "Can you come in to do your tryout?" So I did. My dad drove me at the time because at the time my grandparents only lived around the corner from the academy, which was pretty awesome.
Wow.
And I did I did the tryout and I got accepted and then it just went from there. And then not too long after that, I got my driver's license and I was trained twice a week, and it just kicked off from there. And that was back in 2018.
Wow. Was this the MCW Academy or was it a different academy?
No, it was at PCW.
Oh, it was at PCW. Okay, beautiful. So you had Tricky as your main trainer at the time?
That's correct. And
okay.
I think Tricky's amazing. He's a great bloke, and without him, I wouldn't be as confident as I am today.
Oh, wait. So because you're at the PCW Academy, did you ever? Because at that point, I'd stop attending PCW and a lot of wrestling at that point. Did you ever do any work for PCW?
Yeah, I did. First year of being a PCW, I won the Destiny Battle Royal, which was pretty awesome. And I was a wrestler on their slam shows, and every now and then, when a position became available, I would wrestle on Ignition. So I worked a fair bit for them, and they're a great company.
I think I'm going to have to subscribe to the PCW Network, which you all can subscribe to that. The link is in the description there. $9.95 a month for a whole bunch of wrestling. Can't go wrong. That's a cheeky plug. Jesus. But no, that's really good. But what led you to go to the MCW Academy, which as of yesterday at the time of recording, the PCW and the MCW Academies have now merged into one.
I know, it's pretty awesome. I was actually in contact with them last night, basically just said, I'm back from America. What do we do moving forwards? And we talked everything through, and it's gonna go forward from there.
Beautiful.
So it's pretty exciting.
But what made you go to the MCW Academy from moving to PCW, or were they working together at the time?
No, they weren't working together at the time. Basically, I was at PCW for about 3 years now, and I just felt like a change, and just felt like getting some new experience and meeting some new people, and it just went from there. And 2 years later, we're there now as two, so even better. I get to be with both of them.
Beautiful. So what was the main difference between the PCW Academy and the MCW Academy? Was it just the teaching was a little bit different, or it's just same teaching but different atmosphere?
Same teaching, but a different atmosphere.
Okay. Well, now that they're merged together, I think it's going to be definitely
Yeah,
boost for both of them.
but not to mention, we were in lockdown for 2 years. So when I ended up going to MCW Academy, it was basically just starting from the bottom and working my confidence back up because I hadn't wrestled for like 2 years because of COVID.
You didn't get to do any of the what was the interstate shows. Like I know because I know a lot of wrestlers before we did the big complete shutdown and lockdown, they went to another state to wrestle. You didn't try to do that?
Well, I did do one show that was interstate. I did Venom Pro Wrestling in Queensland, which was a miracle considering the lockdowns were on and off at the time. And I did have a few other places that they wanted to book me, but what was really annoying was that a week before the show or a day or two before the show, I'd see the news and be like, we're going to a snap lockdown like that, and then booking got cancelled, which sucked.
Yep.
But at the same time, since COVID ended, all the bookings, happened, and it all just went from there. Because one thing I've been told in life is that no matter what happens, you just go, no, everything always works out in the end.
Of course, but it was a really tough time for all wrestlers. And I've said this multiple times on the show. I am really surprised that a lot of promotions did not fold because, like for put in perspective, Adrenaline Pro Wrestling, I think it was 5 shows in a row that they cancelled. Because like literally like the day before snap lockdown or whatever happened. PCW, they were trying to do stuff, and then we had the even more restrictions. MCW, I think it was 2 shows in a row that they had to cancel. It was a nightmare for Victoria. I mean, I don't know how we survived. I really don't.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. Along with wrestling, the wrestling scene in my life outside of wrestling, a lot of shit happened. But that I'll keep that confidential. But basically, it just wasn't a fun time for anyone.
No.
And I will be honest. Being at home 24/7 for those that lost their job, and I was one of them, it wasn't healthy physically and mentally. But I think what the good thing was is that back when I was at PCW at the time, there was online training, so it felt good to in a way connect with people, but at the same time it felt silly that we couldn't be there in person and be in the ring sort of thing.
Talk me through the online training because I didn't know about this. What was it? Just like videos, or actually like a Zoom call like we're doing right now?
It was basically like a Zoom call like we're doing now, and we basically just it was basically like character classes and any matches you want to submit to us that we can go through, all that sort of stuff. And it was really good, and it was fun times for everyone.
Well, that does sound really fun.
Yeah, so like I said, it was good in a way that we were able to connect with each other and do some sort of training, but at the same time it didn't feel the same being in person.
Yeah. Well, at least you guys got the have, what was it, like 3 nights a week that you guys were doing that?
Well, I can't remember that far back. We're going like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but they had that sort of at least interaction with people. I think that would have helped your mental health a little bit doing that because when I was doing lockdown, literally my regular 9 to 5, we couldn't do anything, except maybe we'll play a game, like maybe play a game of Among Us every couple of weeks, and that was about it.
Oh, you play Among Us?
Yeah.
I haven't played that game. I've gone to EV games that many times, and I've been tempted to get, but then the second like a Need for Speed or something catches my eyes, I just have to get it.
Just download it on your phone. Like you get the free version there, and just play online. That's what I do.
Yeah. I should probably do that. But along with like WWE games and that sort of stuff, I've always been like a Grand Theft Auto, Need for Speed kind of person. Just in general, my favorite games is just getting chased by police.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know what it says about you if you want to get chased by police like that.
I don't know why. It's just I don't know why, but I do remember the time when I was like really little. One of my dad's best friends is a police officer.
Yeah,
he's been doing it for like 20 years now. And I remember when I was little, I was playing Need for Speed, and you tried to catch me in your cop car, and I rammed you off the road. But obviously I was little. But now that I'm older, I would never do that in real life.
I don't know. I think it's because we can't do it in real. I think that's what appeals to us. Like
Yeah.
I mean I don't want to be the fastest man alive, but I love to play Sonic. But yeah, it's but Grand Theft Auto. I think my favorite thing about that one, as much as I hate to say this on live on the air, still in the cars. I don't know what it is. I've never done it. I'm hand on heart. I've never stolen a car. I've never stolen anything in my entire life. Just a couple of jokes. But that's that. I would never do that. But I see where you're coming from on that bit.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, Game Chase by the Police was fun, but I think it was the more trouble you cause and the more stars you get, the more difficult it comes. And I think it was when you got 6 stars and the army would come after you. I thought that was that was cool because I remember back when I was at school, because we used iPads when I was in high school. During like recess and lunchtime, we would play Grand Theft Auto, and one of my friends at the time said, when you get 6 stars, you just get the sniper, you shoot the gunner on the tank, and then you just hijack it and you blow up everything and you're unstoppable. But
Oh
the
my.
amount of times I bet what's so bad is that with Grand Theft Auto 5, which I currently have, I still to this day have failed to break into the military base and steal a tank. Because as soon as I go in, I just get blown up because they have good shots in this one. Because like Grand Theft Auto IV, like their shots and aims were terrible, but this one it's like next level.
Yeah. I've got GTA 5, but it's still sealed simply because the obviously it's now making rounds again. Dumb ways to die. You remember that YouTube clip for dumb ways to die in GTA 5? Because of that clip, I can't play
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Because like all the good bits have all been ruined because now I know all the way to die in that game.
yeah.
Uh, what is your favorite GTA game anyway in the series?
My favorite GTA of all time, I'd say San Andreas.
Not Vice City.
Um,
I know, I
I
know,
do
I
like
know, I know you're younger than me, but that to me is the quintessential game.
I don't know. I think it's because back in my time at school, San Andreas was the popular one that everyone played. So I
Oh,
think that's why it's just in here.
that's fair. It's just I think Vice City's better. I mean, GTA 5, just from what I've seen, I think it's great. GTA 4 was all right, but I might. But if it wasn't any of them, I reckon GTA 2.
GTA 2. I'm curious when
Yeah, love
GTA
it.
6 is going to come out.
I don't think it's ever going to come out now. To be
You
honest,
don't
like
think?
well, like it's been what 12 years now since the GTA 5 came out, and
Yeah.
they keep saying yeah, it's gonna come out, it's gonna come out. It hasn't come out.
Well, if they don't release, another GTA, the next game I'm hoping they release is the next Hitman.
Oh God,
I love Hitman.
so do I.
But
Very
the
good game.
how scary is the music when you get caught?
Oh yeah,
I literally have like a theater room in my house, and no joke, I brought my dad down one time, and he's like, "It won't be that scary." I cranked it loud, and I went in
yeah.
front of security, pulled the gun out, and the music was just went shoom, and dad was like, "Oh my god, that is scary. How do you play this stuff?"
Oh my God,
It's such a great game. Like
it's
it's
such a
definitely
great
it's
game, but
definitely
you don't play it in the dark, and you make sure you have the like you've got to be well the music's got to be shut down a little bit because it's just it'll because every now and again it will freak the shit out of you.
Oh well, I remember I had my best friend come over one time, and I still have to get him back. I was playing it in,
Yeah,
in the dark because my like we had the whole house to ourselves, and we were downstairs playing in the dark, and as I'm just it's like how like you're in the trespassing area, then has like the scary sneaky music sort of thing.
yeah.
I'm sneaking past, and my friend sitting next to me just went like this to me, rah, and I literally went and threw the remote and got a massive fright. And I literally was like, "You're dead. Get out of my house. You are never welcome here again."
See, this. I think this is different generations because similar thing. I was playing. It was either Doom 2 or Doom or Final Doom. I can't remember which one. I'm sitting there playing on my computer like this. I can't remember which one of my mates it was, and he just waited till like something came out into my ear. Wet Willie. I was like, "You asshole!" Like I literally flipped everything. I went,
That's so that is gold. Another game that's a really good game that's still my era since I was little, Crash
What?
Bandicoot.
Which one?
My favorites growing up would be Twin Sanity and Tag Team Racing.
All right, we're brothers now, man. If it's a
Yeah.
crash tag team racing,
Tag Team Racing was my favorite, and
oh,
out of all the races, I think Nina had the best gun.
thank you, thank you. There we go. All right, I knew that there was a reason why I wanted to have this guy on the show. I knew there was a reason. I know it wasn't going to be something obvious, but it's right there now. Crash Bandicoot, love it. Let's get back to wrestling for a little bit. Now, obviously we've come out of the pandemic, and you've gone to a few different places here in Victoria. I'm going to admit something here because the first time me and Jordie met, I didn't even know he was on the show because he sent me a message saying, "Hey, do you have the footage of my match?" I went, "Which match?" And I didn't know that I tagged him in into a post, and I'm like, okay. And then I had to watch the entire thing to get all this thing for Jordie, and I was so embarrassed, man. I didn't want to, and I want to admit it now, and I am so sorry that I didn't notice because, like, when you're filming stuff like this, your brain doesn't really react. It's just like I'm concentrating on the action. I don't know who's coming in and out. I'm just like on top of that. And when I'm doing the post, I'm just reading who was on there. I'm just putting tag him, cool, bang, post it. And then 2 minutes later, you come up and say, "Oh, can I have the post?" Like, oh shit. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. Like I normally I do pay attention, but when especially if it's a battle royal, I'm it's more the action, and I wanted to publicly say I'm sorry that I did not notice you the first time that I saw you at BCW.
That's okay. I forgive you.
But yeah, I wanted to admit that oh god, yep. But you did amazing. So when I did look back at the footage, I'm like, this guy's actually pretty cool. And I started looking at some footage, but I haven't seen much of you because all the other shows you're either in Too Far or in promotions where I can't film it, which I'm not going to mention on the show. I don't want to get in the on that one. But yeah, the one match that has stuck in my mind that I've been watching in the last 24 hours was your last match here in Victoria with Manos.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to ask you, don't you?
That my best friend chopped him on the chest when I brought him over.
No. There was a line. There's a line that you said in as you're getting started, and
oh god, do I want to hear this?
I hope I get it right. You're more useless than a cock flavored lollipop.
Yeah, you got it right.
Oh, I'm sorry for the kids who had to listen to that, but it is the best line I have ever heard, ever in Australian wrestling. What? What? I can't get it out.
That's okay. Take your time.
What prompted you to say that to Mouse?
It's a fun. How do I put this? Well, obviously, because my wrestling persona is the king of sass, which is rude and cheeky, right? Yeah. I basically was like, I'm the babyface. I need to really roast this guy in front of everyone. So basically, I told him, I'm going to be fair. You take the first hit. So he did that. And basically, just prior, this flows into it. Basically, we planned the match, and I'm like, third time you hit me, I really need to get you angry to give you that back body drop, right? And I thought to myself, what's a quote that I haven't used? And I thought of one of the best movies of all time, Dodgeball.
Yes.
Like the bit with the if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Yeah. And I remember during the training session, he's throwing the balls at one of the guys, and he's like, dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. And he's throwing the balls, and one guy couldn't catch one. And the guy says is, bloody hell, son, you're about as useful as a cock-flavored lollipop. And instantly I thought to that quote makes me laugh every time I watch it. So I was like, let's use that quote. But initially, because I thought of it being age appropriate because they were kids, it was initially going to be a poopy flavored lollipop. But then Manus was like, stuff it. It would be great. So we just went forward. And luckily I didn't get in trouble for it, but
Look, if you got in trouble for that, I'm just like I've attended a couple of VPW events. That is probably the cleanest thing I've ever heard in that ring.
okay,
To be
okay,
honest.
good because
I've
I
heard
will,
a few
I will
people.
be honest. I will be honest. I can't even say it with straight face. I knew it was going to be a funny quote, but at the same time, I wasn't proud saying it in front of my mum and dad and everyone that were in the front row.
What, what did they think when they heard that? like, oh, we're so proud of him.
Well, I basically remember all of my dad's friends was laughing, but then my dad said to me at the time, "You don't need to use quotes like that."
What does he?
And
want?
I was like,
What does he want you to
and I was
say?
like, and I was like, "It's the wrestling. It's entertainment. Everyone laughed." And he's just like, "Yeah, that's true. Okay, do what you want to do."
I'm just.
But my mum, on the other hand, thought it was hilarious. She's like, "I take my hat off to you."
God, I love your parents so much.
Yeah, my mum's totally the opposite to my dad.
When I see you again in person, you got to introduce me to your parents. I've got to firstly shake their hands, give them a hug, and say you've raised your son well, and he's kicking goals. But two, that sense of humor, fantastic.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But yeah, I actually have introduced my parents to a few people in the locker room, and yeah, my parents love everyone. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have them.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the industry itself. What has been something that, because obviously you have a background in martial arts, what is something that you have struggled with because it's something completely out of left field from your martial arts training?
Oh, that's easy. I remember when I first started my training at the PCW Academy, and I did a striking class, and Cass Stone, who was one of my trainers at the time, basically was teaching me how to strike, and he basically said, "You put this hand on top of their forehead, and you pull back, and then shoot the hand like that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I did it, and it was a struggle because I've really transitioned from like being a black belt kickboxer to actually punching someone in the face and punching like bags and all that stuff to actually, doing it like a wrestling way. So that for me was a bit of a struggle. And what was also a struggle is that because I'm a lefty, I struggled to, put that power behind the stroke with my right hand. But yeah, I'm a lefty. I'm the odd one out. But yeah, that I'd say that was my biggest struggle. But as I continued to train and I kept practicing, it all just one day clicked. And to this day, it's not an issue. So yeah, but I'd say that when I first started in the wrestling industry, that was the biggest challenge of learning how to strike like a wrestler compared to how a kickboxer would.
Okay, well, so I would have thought it'd been maybe the cardio, because the cardio is a lot more different in wrestling than it is in any other sport, to be honest. But punching,
Nah, the cardio, the cardio wasn't a struggle for me because well, back when I was a black belt in kickboxing, I actually did kickboxing tournaments where I actually boxed someone. Yeah, I've got a trophy in my bedroom. I won my first fight, so woohoo!
Whoa.
But basically, prior to like the cardio, like you got to have the cardio to like really like not how do I put this, because you're throwing punches and you could get tired out really quickly, and plus one knock can win you. So yeah, back when I was doing the kickboxing, I was running on a treadmill and I was doing lots of jogs around the block with my dog. So cardio's never really been a struggle for me in and outside of wrestling.
Well, it's just weird because I've had Jordan Sampson on here, who's a ex fighter himself, and his one was and he was one that he said it was the cardio that was, because obviously you can be good for 3 to 5 minutes, but if actually being good for like 10 to 12 minutes consistently is a struggle. And I would have thought, but it never occurred to me that punches could be something that somebody from a martial arts background could struggle with. I would have thought that would have been the easiest part, to be honest.
Yeah, well, everyone's different.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, talk me to your character of Jordie Sparkles. Is the rumor true? Because it's been rambling a lot here in the Australian wrestling community. Is it because you're a massive Robin Shabonsky fan that your last name is Sparkles?
No, actually,
Oh,
it actually basically, well, it's a funny story. When I was at PCW, I was thrown into a match very quickly, and it was a battle royal on Slam, which was going to determine like another one contender for the Slam Championship. And
yeah.
I entered, not knowing who I was, because you know, like how like in battle royals, everyone just enters all together in like the one entrance theme. Basically, well, as embarrassing as it is when I tell this story, when I had my first match at the PCW Academy, I had a bath with a bath bomb, and you know, like they got the glitter and all that on. I basically did that, and basically when I went to the center, I had glitter on my chest, and as the lights were shining, the audience were like, "Sparkly, Mr. Sparkles," and all that sort of stuff.
Hmm.
And I remember Tricky at the time, who was my coach. He took me alongside privately and basically just said, you need a wrestling name. The audience thought the Sparkles thing was over. How about you make your name Sparkles? And I was like, yeah, I like that, but I do need a first name. And he was like, well, your real name starts with the letter J. What's the name you could use? And I was tossed between like Jack, Josh, Jordan, and then one day Tricky said, "What about Jordie?" And then we put the two together, Jordie Sparkles, and then boom, it's been going from there ever since.
Okay. Because like I was thinking what one of the best ways for you to come out is let's go to the mall. That music.
Well,
I don't know. I'm just wishful booking, as they say. I just I because I was hoping that was true, that you were a big fan of How I Met Your Mother, and that's how you got your name.
yeah, that's how I got my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tommy Halfo, who was a trainer at the time, also gave me the persona of the King of Sass. So that was pretty cool. Those guys have been a big help in helping me, from where I started to where I am now in wrestling. So yeah, I'm really grateful for those guys.
Oh, so where actually did the King of Sass originate from? It was because you were being funny backstage, were you being a smarter backstage? What was going to talk me through that?
Well, basically, so Tricky helped me get my name down pat. And
Hmm.
basically, not long after that, he was like, "You're going to debut on Slam. You're going to have a promo. You need to tell everyone who you are. You need a persona." So PCW do a character class, right? So I do what I always do. I wake up in the morning, I go to work, do my shift, and then I came home, chucked on my workout clothes, and went to PCW. And I remember I was in the locker room with a few others because obviously I was new to wrestling at the time, and the experienced people were in the ring doing the promo stuff. And Tommy Hellfire basically said to me, "All right, you need a persona. Tell me about you." And I was like, "I don't know what to tell you." And he's like, "Well, tell me what your life in school was like." And I basically said, "Well, I was a part of the cool kids. I was in the popular group where I went to a lot of parties, had lots of girlfriends, and all that sort of stuff." And he basically just said, "Okay, well, if that's the case," he's like, "There already is a ladies' man that has a character like that,
Mm.
but being a part of the popular kids, because the popular kids run the year level and run the school grounds." He basically just said, you need a character that's rude and cheeky. So kind of like when you get in the ring, you basically say to your opponent, "This is my ring, get out." Or something like when you're wrestling and a fan gives you crap, you basically just say, "I'm in the ring, you're the one that barricade paying to watch me wrestle, so shut your mouth," sort of thing.
Mm.
And then basically it just connected with, you should be, you should sass everyone, all that sort of thing. And then it basically just transitioned to, how about the King of Sass, Jordie Sparkles? And then yeah, that's how the character came about. So I reflect on
Wow.
like my school years to, being like the popular kid who trash talks everyone and basically just be like, you talk when I give you permission to talk, sort of thing. So yeah, that's how the character came about. But I promise you, now that I'm a grown up, I'm a very nice person in general. I'm not like I was in school with the popular kids. I
I
can
think
promise you
I
that.
I think we've all matured and become better people after high school. At least I know for myself, I've become a little bit better than what I was. But if you haven't. Well, school days are over. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
yeah, and the truth is, all those people that I was in school with at that time in that group, I literally don't see them anymore or talk to them. We have each other on our socials, but literally we don't talk or see each other anymore. So yeah, it's what
Yeah,
happens in school.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You lose touch. It's effects of growing up in life. You know.
I mean, if anything, I only see one friend who I went to school with, but she's got a boyfriend now, so she's off doing her own thing.
It's all right.
But with
Ain't nothing wrong with
yeah,
that.
yes, but we're still friends. But she's got a busy life now, so yeah.
Yeah, of course. Um, Now that you're back here in Australia, what is next for Jordie Sparkles?
What is next for me? Well, well, obviously, I wanna now that I'm back, I'm gonna continue to do what I do and work the Australian scene as much as I can. I've got a few shows lined up, and obviously, along with the wrestling, I've got some other things in my personal life that I'm hoping to accomplish, which I will keep to myself. But yeah, it's just one goal at a time. But until all those things are done in my personal life that I hope to, tick at the end of the year, I'm possibly gonna save up and get ready for another USA tour. So yeah, just taking everything one step at a time.
We'll definitely have to look out for what is next for Jordan because for Jordie because literally the from the footage I've seen you are fantastic and I can't wait to see what's next for you, man. I really want BCW to bring Melina back and have this dream match with you. And I look there. I reckon you should probably look into maybe getting in contact with Adrian at World Series Wrestling and see if you get booked on that show as well. Because I reckon you'll find some amazing talent to work with there.
Yeah, that would be a dream to be on World Series Wrestling. But as I say to everyone, wrestling is my dream. But just like everyone else, I'm just having a try and giving it my best go.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you, my friend. Now we've come up to the staple question here on what if it's cool. What is something that you find cool that nobody else does?
Avril Lavigne.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. I'll buy it. Why?
Because I love pop punk and I think she's the greatest rock chick of all time.
Oh God. If she sees this, she'll never be on the show. So I'll keep this impartial. I've seen her live. She's okay. I'm gonna be flat and honest. I'm not a big fan of her. I like a lot of her songs. The one song I hate to this day, I hated it when it came out. I hated it, as I got older. I still hate it now at 36. Skater Boy. It will shit me up the fucking wall if I hear it played. I think that's the only reason why I can't, give my whole heart to Avril Lavigne.
I mean, I hear Skater Boy quite a lot, but when it comes to Avril, I think my favorite song of hers is Girlfriend.
Hey, you. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah. But did you like that shitty remix that she did with was it Becky G? I think it was
Lil Mama.
Oh, was it Little Mama? Sorry, I thought it was Becky G.
Yeah,
Little Mama.
I heard it. Personally, I'm not that much of a fan of it. I don't think it's the best. I think originals are just I think you always stick to the originals. Remixes kind of wreck the product in that song.
They can never get it right when they do remixes. I think for that era, it's just that they just don't work. Like if they made it into a completely different original song, if they just kept the background music, I think that would have been okay. But yeah, it just didn't work.
I mean, one of my favorite songs, like at the start of this year, was I don't care what anyone thinks. I think this is a great song, "Flowers" by Miley Cyrus.
Which one's that one? Is that the one that I can buy myself flowers?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, basically where she talks about her ex-husband having all the affairs on her. That song is awesome, but there's been so many remixes on it, and I just think it just ruins the art of the song. So with remixes, I'm like, what's the point? I'm like unless it's a good club mix, but yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. If it's a club mix, that's fine. Like one of my favorite remixes is This Boys in Love. I can't remember who did the artist who did it, but it was originally a dance track, and they did I think a complete different remix for the Ministry of Sound compilation of that year, and I think
Ministry of
that's
Sound.
so.
Oh yeah, they're pretty good when they come to remixes.
But like for doing Avril and in this case doing Miley, nah, don't. Just leave them as is, kids. Like create your own music.
I mean, well, the truth is, I was initially into like hip hop rap sort of stuff, so I liked people like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know, since Avril Lavigne came back onto the scene, started making like rock music again, it just brought back my childhood memories of loving like Complicated and Girlfriend, I'm With You, and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, now it's just my era again. And literally every time in my car, I can't not listen to an Avril song, or even when I'm at the gym.
But I'm feeling guilty now because like now that you've listed those songs and that album, like actually I did like them. You know, maybe I should really have a real think about that. And yeah, because like I'm With You. That's still one of my all time favorite songs. And
Oh, it's a great song, and she still performs to this day. I was hoping that while I was in America, because she was touring, I was hoping while I was in America, I was going to be able to see it, but unfortunately, she was in Europe. So,
well, she's coming here. She's coming here this year, isn't she?
I don't think she is. I know Taylor Swift is, but I don't know if Avril will. But worst case scenario, next time I do a USA tour, hopefully she's touring in an area that I'm in.
So, yeah. Or if I have her on this show, I'll just sneak away, get you into it, and you can have a chat with her.
That would be a dream. I mean,
I don't deal with dreams, mate. I try to make things reality. So I think hopefully in the future, I'm gonna be positive thinking. When it happens in the future, I'll make a way.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
It's all right. Jordie, where can we find you on all your socials?
You can follow me on my Instagram at Jordie_Sparkles, and you can follow me on my Facebook, Jordie Sparkles Wrestler. You can also follow me on Twitter, Jordie_Sparkles, but I hardly use Twitter, so I think your best one would be Instagram. So yeah.
And don't forget to also check out his YouTube channel as well. We can check out all his amazing matches there.
Yeah, awesome.
Because that's how I found your matches, and I want this guy to blow up. Okay, not in a bad way, in a good way. Because he's only got 30 subscribers on his YouTube. Like, guys, get his name out there, please. This guy's amazing. Seriously.
Yeah, as I say to everyone, I'm just having a try and giving it my best shot.
All right. Well, Jordie, it's been a lovely and absolutely amazing time having you on the show. Thank you for being a part of it. I can't wait to see what's next for you. Jordie Sparkles, thank you for being part of What If It's Cool.
Thank you. It was an honor. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And that's the end of that episode. Want to be featured on What If It's Cool, or know someone who has an interesting story that needs to be told? Reach out to me. I can be reached on whatifitscoolbusiness@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more for What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out the YouTube channel, where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbanging Around, Reaction, and of course the podcast. And don't forget to follow What If It's Cool on all socials. It can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, I'll catch you on next one. Peace.